Malaysia's cybersecurity agency has issued an alert hit by a massive global
ancaman serangan cyber yang didalangi kumpulan anonymous.
Dan lebih banyak kes berlaku tetapi tidak dilaporkan kepada mereka.
Syarikat penerbangan di Godam kira-kira pukul 10 pagi tadi.
In today's digital world, people and machines are connected as never before. The ability to store and process vast quantities of data has transformed the way we live, work and play. However, there is a dark side to smart technology. It can be misused for warfare, subversion, sabotage and espionage. Based on recent cybersecurity study, top 1,000 ASEAN companies could lose $750 billion in market capitalization. And cybersecurity concerns could derail the regional digital innovation agenda, a central pillar for its success in the digital economy.
The COVID-19 pandemic has shaken our economies and societies to the core and shown us how vulnerable we are to biological threats. In the digital world, similar risks are being overlooked right now. A cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics would spread faster and further than any biological virus. Its reproductive rate would be around 10 times greater than what we've experienced with the coronavirus. To give you an idea, one of the fastest worms in history, the 2003 Slammer sapphire worm, doubled in size approximately every 8.5 seconds, infecting over 75,000 devices in 10 minutes and almost 11 million devices in 24 hours. Fortunately, at least until now, cyber attacks have not impacted our health the way pandemics have, but the economic damages, and therefore the impact they have had on our daily lives, have been equal and sometimes even greater. You see, the only way to stop the exponential propagation of a COVID-like cyber threat is to fully disconnect the millions of vulnerable devices from one another and from the internet. All of this in a matter of days. A single day without the internet would cost our economies more than $50 billion, and that's before considering the economic and societal damages should these devices be linked to essential services such as transport or healthcare. As the digital realm increasingly merges with our physical world, the ripple effects of cyber attacks on our safety just keep on expanding at a faster pace than what we're preparing for. COVID-19 was known as an anticipated risk. So is the digital equivalent. Let's be better prepared for that one. The time is now.
We hear about new variants in COVID virus. Similar in cyber, there are constantly evolving threats and sophisticated threat actors.
I think that we are in, I don't know if I would call it a cyber pandemic because it doesn't stop our life like the biological pandemic that we are, but we're definitely under massive attack every day from multiple sources, from commercial sources, from criminal sources, from other. What we know is that that can happen. That can turn into a cyber pandemic like the biological pandemic that we are facing right now. And
the pandemic is an issue that plagues the physical world, but the cyber pandemic is a crisis in the digital world.
The cyber pandemic, we need to talk about computers defending against other computers.
I would suggest we're actually living a cyber pandemic right now, so I'd love to talk about that a bit more. I do throw that out to be slightly controversial because not everyone believes that that's what's happening. When we look at the economics of it, when we look at the impacts on everyday lives, I believe we are.
The speed is something that human being cannot react to. So I think
during the lockdown periods, the digital space is an enabler for all sorts of activities. For instance, we see remote working, e-commerce becoming a new way of life. All of this have increased our reliance on digital infrastructure.
If COVID had happened even 10 years ago, we could not have imagined moving entire companies, schools and government offices so fast online. Today, that is a reality.
I don't think many of us thought supermarket delivery or food delivery services were essential until we had a lockdown.
Physically, we still can close borders, but virtually, we continue to see ideas, intellectual property, digital goods and services, cyber viruses, unfortunately, and so are many other things spread everywhere.
Seniors, the most vulnerable, being most susceptible to fake news online, clicking on clickbait content, and often falling for scams to the COVID pandemic.
We need to see some kind of almost requirement for cybersecurity for the public and private sector, just because of the kind of damage that this can do. And it's not just, plants shutting down. It's the ability for nation-state actors, if they wanted to cause severe damage to the infrastructure. I'm talking about there are incidences reported in the past of hackers being able to destroy pipelines by causing explosions, melting down steel mills. Not just, people stealing money. It really is physical damage that can be done here. And I just go back to the hospitals again during the pandemic when they were being hit with ransomware. There were points where cancer patients couldn't receive their treatments because one of the companies that provides the software for that had suffered a ransomware attack. So it really is a real world issue that needs to be addressed. And yes, crypto could be part of that. But
most people, even large companies, are working from home using insecure networks that they share, Wi-Fi networks they share with the rest of their family. And a lot of companies, especially smaller businesses, are not adequately prepared.
Enterprise and individual end users also need to have basic awareness of the types of cyber risks that are out there and the measures that they need to take to better protect themselves. It's not just a technical issue. End user awareness is also essential. Don't trust any activity in the network without verification. And secondly, we need to monitor for suspicious activities.
Sharing sensitive information, it's not just who we're sharing that information with, but how we're sharing